Welcome to Build Your Maverick Business, the podcast for underdog, outlier, and renegade entrepreneurs. Brought to you by Strange Creative Studio. If you dream of going off on your own and launching your rebel empire, but don't know where to start, you're in the right place. We'll teach you how to use mindset, branding, and practical advice to build a killer business and transform your world. And now, here's your host, founder of Strange, Alex Pitt.
All right, you lot. How's it going? I am in a spectacular mood today. For many reasons, one of which I'll come back onto in a minute. One of the reasons is that Strange has just turned 2 years old. Can you believe it? I do not have any children, don't have any pets, and I have a really bad track record with houseplants. But hey, I've kept a business alive for 2 whole years. So happy birthday, Strange. We did a bit of celebrating at the weekend, which I'll come back to in a minute. But yeah, brilliant. Can't believe it. Cause for celebration, that. Now, one of the other reasons is that I've just gotten off the phone with one of our wonderful clients who, oh God, I just love the Strange clients. They're so much fun. Having a really lovely time at the moment. Yeah, one of the other reasons, probably the main reason, is that I woke up this morning and went to make myself my usual cup of black coffee, keep it on brand, guys, and realised we were out of coffee, which was an absolute nightmare, right? For me, my magical bean juice is the thing that gets me out of bed in the morning, so was not very happy about that. But it meant that I had to haul my ass out of the flat and go for a little walk first thing in the morning. And I tell you what a lovely thing to do. I need to do that more often. I went and had a little stroll around our park. We've got a beautiful park about 10 minutes walk away. So I just walked around. I just saw lots of little dogs, saw some birds, saw some ducks, saw one particular black duck, which I've decided is my favourite now and I have to go and spot him every morning. It was a lovely, lovely walk. So yeah, I decided that I was going to go grab a coffee from one of the many lovely coffee chains that we have in my local area in West London. And now there are a few to choose from, right? There are a few to choose from, and all of them do really delicious coffee. But I have my particular favourites, and there are some that I just try and avoid where possible, right? So I'll talk you through it. One of them, delicious coffee, like I say, lovely, lovely little cafe. Don't like it because the staff are knobs. Like, not knobs, but just like that real kind of stereotypical hipster, I'm cooler than you, I was drinking coffee before it was popular sort of shit. Like, they never smile. They just look at you like you're shit on their shoe. And I just don't like that experience. It's not very nice, so I don't bother going there. Now, one of them is, this is going to make me sound so shallow, by the way, and such like a design whore. But one of them is really, really lovely, gorgeous interiors, staff are wonderful, but their takeaway cups are really shit. Like, I know, that's so shallow of me. But they look like something that you would get at a petrol station. Like, they are branded, but they're just really ugly and a bit tacky. I'm sorry, I'm so shallow, but it's true. Don't really like their cups. Pathetic, I know. I do actually have one of those little keep cups, so I do try and take that out with me when I can. I'm not trying to fuck over the environment. I do apologise. Now, the third one, I call it my baby bear coffee shop because it's just right. It's far away. It's further away than the other ones, but I like it. The cups are really nice. Can't believe this is a thing that I actually rate. But I really like the cups. I like carrying those cups around with me. The people are really nice. The staff are really lovely. The interior's great. Coffee is wonderful. Like, bear in mind, I'm going to buy a cup of coffee and this is like the last thing that I actually rank. But the overall experience is really, really lovely, right? Now, something similar happened, like in this like pathetic judgment system of mine, happened on Sunday. So when I say that we were doing a bit of celebrating for Strange being 2, Joe and we decided to go and have like a date day, which was kind of like celebrating Strange's birthday. But also, he's in a band, he's on tour a lot. We hadn't seen each other in a while. So we went for a date day. It was so much fun, right? So we went and played mini golf. I won. I am a disgraceful winner. So I was, not humble about it. But we had a lovely time. We had a couple of drinks and we decided we were starving. After my victory, worked up an appetite with all of the bragging, decided that we wanted to get something to eat. So this place where we were playing mini golf, it also does burgers. And I'd seen their Instagram and I liked their branding. I liked the photos make it look like really sexy food. So I was like, oh yeah, let's do that. Let's go and get a burger. So we sat down and we looked at the menu. And again, I'm sorry, I'm such a design whore. I'm so shallow with this sort of thing. But the menu was like massively overcrowded. There were so many different options on there. And it was like on this laminated, really cheap, tacky thing. It just looked like the sort of menu you'd get in a cafe in Magaluf. And so like my perception of it suddenly dropped. I was just like, is this going to be nice? Like how strange that I'm judging the food based on what the menu's like. But something about it just made me think, I don't know about this. And so we ended up going to a different burger place just around the corner, but they give you menus on like a little wooden board. You know the one. It's only like, you've got 5 options maybe. And the whole thing just makes me think, that's going to be really nice. Because my perception of it is this is a luxury kind of thing, right? You're getting your money's worth. All of these little touch points are adding up, right? And they are subconsciously making me think a certain thing about these brands. Now, I know not everyone thinks about these things like I do. Not everyone is such a fucking design nerd that a laminated menu or a tacky looking coffee cup is going to affect them, right? Everyone's different. I am the first to admit that I am a bit of a weirdo. It's kind of my brand. Anyway, I had a situation a few weeks ago, which is kind of that, but on a massive, massive scale. So I decided that we've been living in our flat since like December last year, and we are yet to have a dining table. We haven't really entertained. There's so many lovely places to go out. But I just thought, no, I want to have people over for dinner. And so I went to order myself a dining table. Now, I went to a famous and well-known furniture distributor, manufacturer, retailer. I'm sure you know the one, but I'm not going to name and shame. And I had what I can only describe as the worst customer service experience I have ever had in my 32 years of life. I was legitimately horrified that a company of this scale could be so monumentally shite. Like, I'm still pissed off about it. And I promise I'm not going to use this episode just to rant. See, I'm not even naming the company, right? No, this always comes back to business. This is very important branding conversation, everyone. So what happened was I ordered this table and what got delivered was a slab of MDF. So I had the tabletop but no legs. Bearing in mind, the delivery was actually really expensive. And we live, I think I looked it up, it was a 9-minute drive away from the actual warehouse. So it's not coming very far. Unfortunately, we don't have a car at the moment. So it's not as easy as just jumping in the car and going and buying something. Otherwise, I just would have done because this was awful from start to finish. So yeah, got delivered a tabletop, no legs. And long story short, I think it was about 5 or 6 phone calls in the end saying, I still don't have my table legs. Can you deliver them, please? And they would say, yes, they will be delivered on this day. And we would wait in all day and nothing would come. Then we get back on the phone. Oh, sorry about that. They'll be delivered on this day. And it was like 3 or 4 days in between. So we've still just got this fucking slab of MDF in the living room that's doing nothing because there's nothing to put it on. Anyway, fast forward about 3 weeks. And I was so fed up because we'd just been delivered the table legs and they were the wrong legs. So I was like, this is just annoying me now. So I ended up taking these very, very heavy steel fucking table legs on the bus, which is like a 10-minute walk either side. And it was a day when the buses, for some reason, were just shite. So I had to wait ages for a bus. The whole thing was just miserable. And it was during the heat wave. I was very hot. Can you tell I'm still annoyed about this? Got there. And this is where the comedy starts, right? So I went up to the customer service area and there's nobody there. There's like probably 6 or 7 people behind the counters waiting for anyone to serve. But there was no one waiting to be served, There was no other customers. So I waited for a minute and was waiting for somebody to pay attention to me. Everyone was just talking amongst themselves, a couple of people on their phones. So eventually I was just like, hello. And they said, oh, you need to take a ticket. And you know that meme from Pulp Fiction where it's like John Travolta just kind of looking left to right with his hands out like, really? So I was like, okay. we're playing customer service here. I get it. I'll take a fucking ticket. I'll humour you. Still had to wait a few minutes while they dicked around and ignored me. So I'm getting more and more cross. Eventually, they saw me. They spent, I shit you not, I was stood there for half an hour while 4 different people tried to work out what I was telling them, which is, you spent 2 weeks faffing around and not sending me what I needed. Now you've sent me the wrong thing and I've had to lug it here on the bus. No one apologised, like no one cared, basically. They were just looking at me like I was shit on their shoe. Like, oh my God, the whole experience was awful. Now, this isn't just me ranting about why this was such a terrible thing. Like, there is really shocking customer service. I went on to Trustpilot and oh my God, this company is absolutely trashed for how shit they are. So it's obviously not just me. But the thing is, this brand is older than me. This brand is older than my parents. This is a brand that everyone knows. A lot of people love. I used to love them. I used to legitimately take pictures of the store as I walked in and put it on my Instagram story, all excited because I loved the experience of being associated with this brand, right? Their whole way that I perceived them was like friendly, approachable, for everyone, fun. Like, if you think back to the archetypes episode, they are an everyman archetype because they're so accepting, they're comforting, they're familiar. They're just great. Now, my current perception of them are they are a bunch of absolute crooks and I will not set foot back in that store again. Now, their products haven't changed, their advertising hasn't changed, their Instagram, their social media. But my perception of that brand has completely changed because the customer service did not reflect the wider brand. There is a massive disconnect there between what they're saying and how they're trying to communicate, how they're trying to get people to think about them and what they're actually doing. It's kind of like if you had a friend or an old dear uncle that you thought the absolute world of, and then you found out that like they're having an affair or like, there's some sort of massive criminal and you just never knew. My perception was completely trashed. Also, good example, that bit in Friends, the one where Ben Stiller does a cameo and he's really, really friendly to everyone. And all of a sudden, when no one's looking, he's a complete bastard. That's how I feel about this furniture company now. And I do not want to go back there. Like, they very begrudgingly gave me a voucher in the end. And I'm just like, nah, fuck that. I can't even be asked using it. Now, my point is, again, this is not just me ranting about my terrible experience. But you can't ignore all of the touch points of your brand. Whether it's something as small as your packaging, or it's as huge as the customer service experience being nothing like what you're putting out. Every interaction that people have with you is how people are perceiving you. You can't ignore any of those touch points because every single little thing builds up that perception, right? Now, I've said this before, but your brand is what people say about you when you're not in the room. You need to make sure that they're saying some good shit, building up all of these little touch points and paying attention to all of it, every single interaction that people have with your brand. Make sure that nothing is getting lost, nothing is falling down the cracks. I tell you what, it's not all bad news because this anonymous furniture retailer, which I will not mention, at least did serve a lovely plate of meatballs at the end of this shitty experience. Heh. All right, my darlings, that's all for me. Pay attention to all of the touch points. Make sure people are saying good shit when you're not in the room. And I'll catch you all here next week.
Got an idea for a maverick business of your own? Learn how to build a powerful brand that will get people obsessed with our online program, not just a pretty logo. You'll learn a simple step-by-step framework that will kickstart your killer brand and help you find your raving fan base. Find out more today at strangecreativestudio.com.